Crude inventory numbers coming in a few minutes. Actually, in 10 seconds, 5 seconds. Must have been a big build because it's really coming down. Seems to be buyers in there. You guys able to hear me? Okay, thanks. Well, bounce. Let's see if it tests a low now, if it can hold. Pretty big dollar rally right now. It's dragging the market down even. Let's see where there's support. 50 half maybe. I know it's a long way down, but yesterday was pretty crazy too. See if we can print another new low. Seems like the seller's running out. Another new low. Just hanging at the lows right now. Almost looks like it wants to make a new low in crude. They couldn't get enough of crude yesterday, and now they're tripping over themselves to get out. You could see it on the level 2. the S&P and Nasdaq just fell out of bed. Well, 11 million build. Blowing through every level right now. Volatility's really picked up on crude. Still no buy signals. Let's go to 1 minute. Low was 53. To answer the question about the Shell merger, that's just they're scrambling for to buy reserves. Their production, their worst production drop in 17 years for Shell. So I joked, if you can't find it, you buy it, as in crude oil. Boy, crude can barely bounce. Let's go to the as we were talking about how crude got to come back down to the dollar. S&P and yen came back together today. That's just too much noise to watch. Switch over to 1 minute. Two ticks away. See if we can get one more push on NASDAQ. Should hit 2 ticks. There we go. We'll see how much the rally retraces. Typically after a big moving day, you get kind of a choppier day. We do have some conflict. We'll go through the time frames. Daily, still in this range. To me, it's still mildly, well, it's topping. Let's just call it. It's a topping pattern. So until it can take out these areas, it just definitely the price action seems to be more bearish. Same thing you're seeing on the 4-hour. Although the 4-hour is starting to turn up. It's marking it by time like we talk about. So it's been in this range. So it's starting to get turning the Titanic around here. I'm still though, in the shorter term, you got to be a dip buyer. Took a shot on some shorts this morning, stopped out, and then kind of sold a high and then took a quick profit. Long here. Like to see what happens here on crude, if it can come and test that low and hold. You'll get some. Not the volatility's come in. It's moving so fast over here, it's hard to take a trade because with even a 10-15 cent stop, you're going to get stopped out. Getting a pretty huge dollar move right now. I want to real quick look at the largest weekly bills since March 2001. Record weekly build. All-time high inventory. Goldman Sachs is saying they're 85 to 90% filled for storage. So remember, you can never, I mean, you can, but it's you don't really have to. You don't have to pick a bottom. You can enter, and you don't have to pick a top. You just take the meat of the move, and it's a very, very easy way to get in late, get out early, and not have to worry about, beating yourself up about missing tops and bottoms. I do think this will probably rally higher. Might even take out the high. Let's see on crude. I mean, 1 hour to pull back by, 15 minutes to pull back by, 5 minutes to pull back by. See if we can work into a position. Didn't sell off more than 15 cents. Still want to see it test a low a little bit more strongly than that. Just might not. Huge volume yesterday, so think of all those people that bought up here. People that bought all in here. They're either going to protect their position and add, especially if they're long-term buyers. I think a lot of this was short covering. So I look at it, I'm buying dips. as that keeps on trucking. Definitely a change in the bullishness in crude with that. This is what I talk about, technical patterns. Obviously, there's the news and the catalyst, but it's not like they didn't. We've had 11 weeks in a row. It's not a big news flash that there's going to be another bill this month. And yesterday's numbers that came out, which was this after hours move, was a bigger than expected bill. There's two different, there's a private firm, the API, and then a Department of Energy's today. So this is pretty much news that the market knew. It just chose kind of to ignore it yesterday. Really, today's close is pretty critical. If we kind of close down here and then have a little rally overnight and fail back down to here, it's definitely starting to get running into some problems. But if it can hold in this band and then rally and take out that high in the next 24 to 48 hours, that's pretty good. From the bullish side, so here comes the test. Five minute. Let's go look at the S&P daily. 4 hour, 1 hour. Get rid of some of these lines. 15-minute. Choppy market continues. So this is another thing I've been watching. Obviously, most central banks around the world are pretty much in all bond markets. I just saw that the Swiss 10-year note or 10-year bond at offering was negative yield, which has never happened in history. So I don't know why you would buy a bond to pay someone to hold your money for 10 years, full well knowing there'll probably be some type of inflation over those next 10 years. But I guess they're all front running the ECB, who said they've filled their first month's quota somehow. I'd basically drive, and even Spanish 6-month yields are negative. So they drove their quota. But when I look on a daily chart, kind of a lower high choppy area, but I think they definitely would want to buy US paper. Since the yield is not negative. it's pretty much a joke. $50, $57. Here's the next push higher on the market. So yeah, you get your first push, your retest. Actually, this was the first retest, second retest. Really held in pretty good, so now you get a bigger push. Let's go to 5 minute. I doubt it takes out the high, just because you get this big up move, you almost retraced all of it. So technically that damaged the market. Anybody that bought up in here is going to want to sell. If it were to get back up there. Let's go with the 1 hour crude. $30-minute. Kind of back to the overnight lows. Good place for support. And you can see how the sellers are jumping in on the NASDAQ here. People are asking about buying and selling more than one contract. You actually have up here, so left click is one contract, right click is two contracts, so you can change that. So if I want to sell two, I right click. If I want to buy one, I left click. If I want to sell one, I left click. So that's the best way. Left and right click is up here in the top. You could actually change it if you want to do different sizes. But that's how you do it. You could also just go left click, or different levels, left click, left click. You can buy, let's say you bought two and then you could offer out one. Cancel all. This little teeter-totter looking thing is the get flat. Here we go, better test of that low. Let's see here. Amazing how it drops buck and change and it's just stuck. I guess if you were short, you're covered, you took your profits. If you were long, you got stopped out and you got blown out of the water, you're done for the day. So that's kind of what happens in some of these markets when there's bigger moves. I see it all the time in currencies. Hmm. Looks like the dollar's starting to come down, so I go to a 5-minute. What you'd see is the U.S. yen will come down, meaning the dollar is falling, and you should see crude come up. So we'll see. Crude has been ignoring the dollar lately. Definitely seems like crude is on the ropes. Might have to go down to a lower level, another dollar lower for it to get more buyers. So if you think about it with either stocks or futures or whatever, you almost have to think of it as like an inventory level. So there's an equilibrium that's met. When it gets to an equilibrium point, it does actually get quiet. Nobody wants to buy, no one wants to sell. So in order to get more buyers, there might be more buyers at a lower price level. So the bigger institutions and banks will step aside and let it come down to that next lower level, which in this case could be down 50 half. We shall see though. Just completely stuck in the mud. Pretty much chopped now. Almost feels like crude wants to take out the low. Nasdaq keeps gravitating higher. Can you guys hear me? Anybody? Okay, thanks. I think Andrew's been talking the whole time. Can you guys hear Andrew? No. I'll have to razz him and say we just don't want to hear from you today. Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Oh,
You
God.
can now?
Well, usually you come in as staff, so I didn't
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
How long have you been here? All day?
Oh, the whole time. I've been talking the whole time.
Come
It's
on.
funny because you've almost been answering me. It's been kind of funny.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
I guess we got to just do the sound check every day.
Exactly. Looks like crude's headed down to retest those lows here. See how it interacts.
Right.
We've had a lot of buyers down here, though. Oh, there's a big push there.
I know it's a pretty anemic rally, so seems like it's in trouble.
Yeah.
Dollar strong too, but
It
I don't
doesn't
know.
matter.
I don't know how much the fundamentals ever work out with that.
Yeah.
One's got to think that there's a lot of, let's just say, funds that need yield that are probably trying to make some kind of elaborate product to get yield on crude long. Either doing spreads or options or something. Because the builds are just insane right now.
Yeah. Going to create some type of exotic instrument, that's for sure. Going to try to hedge off that risk somehow.
Well, I don't know if you heard me talking about the negative yields and Swiss 10 years negative on the offering.
Well, it's because it's all bond. I mean, it's all government buying. I mean, who cares? The government's going to be buying them, so why does it matter, right?
Well, they've put a cap on it.
Yeah.
You're guaranteed a loss for 10 years. I mean, like they said, if you ask the average like fourth grader on the street, how about this? You could keep your money in cash, or you can buy this investment, and I'll give you 97 cents back in 5 years.
That sounds like a casino.
I think I'm all in. Sign me up.
Yeah. Lock in a guaranteed loss, right?
Exactly. That's how crazy it's become, right?
When you don't know what you're doing, anything sounds good.
Well, it's more like desperate times call for desperate measures at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's desperate. Because now they're saying the Germany has a surplus this year,
That's crazy.
so they won't even have to. They'll just have rollover, but the ECB doesn't. They don't know how because they're basically prorating it. So they're saying we're going to buy 60 billion a month in bonds. We're going to buy like 18 billion or something in German, French, and Italian are the biggest markets, and then smaller amounts in all the other markets. But there isn't even enough bonds. That's why the boon will go negative pretty soon. If it isn't already, it's like 0.1, 0.0, I'm sorry, 0.01. So
Here's a retest of those lows. Let's see how this holds here, or if it's going to hold.
it was pretty volatile.
So I've been talking and on this whole time. So
Okay. Did you
see if this bottom's going to hold here.
it should. I mean statistically. Let's see, maybe get long at 60. Or I thought you went golfing or something.
Yeah, not in Arizona yet, buddy. That's Friday.
Oh, that's true.
That would be nice, actually.
That's
Be
weird.
nice. Get out and enjoy some sun.
Fun in the sun.
See if crude's gonna give us a little poppy pop here.
Seems like
Pretty
it.
much almost engulfed that whole bearish candle we had in the 5 minute.
Right. It's made such strong moves in such a quick amount of time.
Yeah.
You've got to have so many people trapped, long and short. That's why I think this kind of can we work. I don't see a fundamental reason for us to break through up to this level, but definitely seems like there's momentum to that direction.
Yeah. Well,
But
anything's possible with crude.
when you start looking here, if you had been short here and then took heat, more longer term traders, if you're short on any break, you're covering
Yeah.
because the definite recent trend is up.
Yeah.
And then if you're a buyer, you feel like you missed the train leaving the station, you're going to buy any dip. So we'll see.
See if we get any good upside momentum here. I mean, one candle doesn't determine a trend, but
It's pretty anemic though when you look on the 1 minute.
oh yeah, you're chopping sideways on a 1 minute right here.
You get this, let me fix this. Get this plunge and it's like, can't even rally. And then if this rolls over here, it's making a new low.
Yeah.
Because this is a pretty barely 20-cent rally after dropping a $1.25.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's just, I'm melting. That is a serious build, though.
Well, the thing that's crazy about it is it's each week. It's not just, you know what I mean? It's not like one big, huge build. It's every single week. It's an additional 10 million, an additional 5 million. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's where this starts getting ridiculous.
Well, it's also the kind of thing that you get once it gets full. It's kind of okay. Now what?
Yeah. Now what do we do?
But it's a U.S. thing. It's definitely
Yeah.
a U.S. thing because you look at what's going on, and Saudi Arabia just raised their prices. So
Yeah, yesterday, right? Wasn't that what caused the push yesterday? Was them raising their prices?
mm-hmm. People are willing to pay for it in mostly Asia. It sounds like so. Seems to be a price they're willing to pay. Then all that extra oil, if they can get it
Yeah.
out of here. But I don't know, the numbers I'm looking at, the fracking will dry up in 2 years.
The fundamentals.
Well, the production will drop unless they continue to do crazy amounts of rigs, which they're obviously not.
Yeah.
The next 12 to 18 months production will be cut in half, which is pretty much all the net surplus around the world has been U.S. fracking. So once that drops, oil would definitely go up.
Yeah.
So I get the long-term buyers right now.
Could get a close above the midpoint of current and previous here. Let's see if that continues to play out.
You want the 5 minute?
Yeah.
Well, we know crude's not going to zero, let's just say.
Gotta have it.
And the fact that the prices come down so much that all these companies are going to go under or stop production. And once that happens, you're going to have a supply constriction, which would cause the price to go up. It's
this is going to push right here.
it's not the best looking bottom in the world, but
It's constructive.
you don't like this bar here. I don't like. If it came here and pulled back and then went, kind of like what the Nasdaq did, it never really took out that low. Versus here, it took it out.
Yeah.
We shall see. Not impressive at all on the crude oil rallies.
I mean, it's just back and forth. It's, you know what I mean?
Well, usually on a big down move like that, you should get at least to the midpoint, fit back to 52.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do it on this push.
Close with the highs of current and previous. Let's see if we can start seeing it break out here.
We could take out 74s. That would be bullish.
Ideal. Yeah. Take out 74s and then get back up into the 91 ranges.
Right. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
interact from there. So, all right, well, we'll see you guys on the wrap-up, Kyle.
Yep. Have a good one.